Refreshing stories. My name is Hiroshi. Just a few moments ago, I went from being a former prep school student to a failed student no more. I failed my college entrance exam, and I was really dreading having to tell my parents about this. The big reason for that is because my parents were extremely cold towards me, and there was a big chance that I would be kicked out of my house because of this. That's why I decided to message my big brother that I really looked up to first. Hey, I didn't make it.
What? Does this mean you didn't get into any of them?
Yeah. Unlike me, my big brother had perfect grades, was great at sports, and on top of all of that, he was kind to everybody, and he was an incredibly thoughtful, perfect Superman. Tsuyoshi is our pride and joy as parents.
That's right, but on the other hand, when it comes to you, who did you get those genes from?
I always wanted to be more like my brother, so I was always telling myself that I needed to try harder. However...
Hiroshi, you failed another test. When are you ever going to wake up and study seriously?
I am studying! Look at me right now! I'm doing my best! This is a manga! Where's the textbook I was reading just now? For some reason, anytime I would start studying, I would go into a time warp. By the time I realized it, I would be reading a manga, or I would be making a water gun out of a plastic bottle. That reminds me, the worst time was when I was in school and forced to study after school. Oh, what a noisy alarm! What do I do? How do I even stop this? I had somehow accidentally pressed the fire alarm. The sound brought me back to reality, but apparently, I was so curious about what would happen when I pressed that button that I couldn't help myself. And of course, it sent the entire school into a panic. Multiple fire trucks came speeding over, and even our super calm and kind principal yelled at me with the most threatening voice. Speaking of fire trucks, there was also a time when I accidentally opened up a fire extinguisher. That happened over summer break, when I was exploring the town by myself. What happens if I pull out the pin and grip the handle? I was so curious that eventually I couldn't help myself and... I'm sure it'll be fine. What?
Just tell mom and dad honestly and apologize that you did your best, but you didn't pass the exam. I'm sure they'll both understand.
Yeah, that's right. I was in the middle of messaging my brother. My mind always wanders off into multiple directions. You're right. If you say so, then it'll probably be fine.
That's right. I know that you can do anything you put your mind to. If anything, I'll talk to them with you. And I'm sure they won't be that mad.
My brother said that for me. However, Dad, Mom, I'm very sorry. But next year, I will definitely pass. This time, I promise. Get out! You are no longer our son in this house. But how can you say that? Where am I supposed to go? Don't know. Come on, what are you doing? Do you want to be kicked out?
Dad! It's not like Hiroshi failed because he wanted to! You don't have to kick him out!
This is my house, and I decide who gets to live in it.
You can't even listen to what your dad says. You shouldn't anger your parents too much.
I'll pick up more shifts. I'll earn my own living expenses. I'll even pay rent. In that case, go live by yourself. I don't even want to see your face anymore. Tsuyoshi? My brother will be able to help me. That's what I thought, as I looked over at him for help, but...
I'm sorry, but it looks like the only thing you can do is leave.
No, not you too.
But I'm sure you're going to be fine. If you pick up a lot of shifts, and you study desperately over the next year, probably.
In the end, I was kicked out of my own house with only the clothes on my back. My cell phone was on a family plan, so my dad confiscated it. So not only did I fail my exam, I also became homeless at the same time. I don't have a home to go to anymore. Where am I supposed to go? What am I supposed to do? I had hit rock bottom as I was staring blankly at the river from the bridge. As I was standing there, a passerby got worried and talked to me.
What are you doing? Are you okay?
What? I'm fine. I was just looking at the river.
Should I call the police?
It's not like that. Why are you looking at me like that? I don't know why. But no matter how much time passed, that person wouldn't leave. I would later find out that this woman's name was Miss Shibuya, and she was a bit of a strange person.
If we're just gonna stand here and talk, why don't we go have some coffee?
Thank you very much. We went to a nearby cafe, and she treated me to coffee and cake. I told her everything that happened until now. Any normal adult would probably say, college exams are not a big deal, or good things are waiting for you in life, or something similar to that. However, Miss Shibuya was unique.
Your parents may tell you that you need to study harder, but studying isn't everything.
My brother's so smart, but before I even get to studying, I'm a failure as a person, and I have to try harder overall.
That's probably just your fate, I think. Your brother loves to study and can't help himself, but maybe you like making new things, or like discovering new things. Isn't that right?
That's a good point, but none of that is any use as an adult.
You don't know that yet. If that's what you say, I also had terrible grades in school.
What do you do for work now?
I sell industrial parts for work. Things like glue, adhesives, acrylic boards. I get those made by other factories, and then I sell them to hardware stores. My husband is currently on medical leave for depression.
That sounds like a handful.
It's not always easy, but I really do believe that this is the happiest we can be. There are a lot of times that I think, why is this happening to me? But in the end, people aren't made to be able to fight their fate. That's why I think we should be true to ourselves and go with whatever way our bodies naturally move. Later on, you may even find that that was your talent after all.
Well then, are you saying it's fine if I'm reading mangas and playing games every day?
To put it simply, yes. But I think only doing that will start to get boring. As you start by doing the things that you like, I think you'll start to see what you really want to do with your life.
Is that true?
Of course it is. No good will come from trying to fight your fate.
I decided to gamble with what Miss Shibuya told me. Starting that day, I believed that I could live my life how I wanted to. I gave up on studying for the exam, and I did the bare minimum part-time job and spent the rest of my days doing whatever I wanted. A few years later, how did this happen? Lo and behold, I had just become an aimless, useless human. That's right, I didn't have a steady job. I would impulse buy anything that I wanted, and on my days off, I was just reading manga or watching movies as usual. As a result, I didn't have any savings, and I was holed up in a crap apartment that I rented for $200 a month and living a pathetic life. How can this be? Are you telling me that this is the life that I chose? Or was this my fate, to become like this? Which one was it? I was on the train, exercising my negative thoughts like a bodybuilder, when suddenly, the unthinkable happened. What? Tsuyoshi? When the train that I was on passed by the train that was running on the tracks next to me, I saw my brother's figure in that train. However, my perfect, flawless Superman brother had dark, empty eyes, and he looked like there was a cloud of sadness around him. Tsuyoshi? Brother! Hey! Tsuyoshi!
What? Is that Hiroshi?
I can't believe I was running into you here! It's been so long! Are you coming home from work?
Well, yeah.
Hey, Tsuyoshi, are you tired?
I think it's over for me. I don't know.
What? As soon as I spoke to my brother, in an instant, he broke down in tears.
Listen, the company I worked at was so terrible. Everyone was getting sick, and everybody was quitting. So I thought this was when I needed to try my hardest. So I gathered the most elite forces I knew, and I started a new company.
That's the Tsuyoshi I know. That's something I could never do.
But lately, no matter what I try, it's not going well. Little by little, our clients are disappearing. We can't keep any profits. So I've tried reducing my own salary and re-examining our sales efficacy. I'm doing whatever I can to make it work, but at this rate, I can't even protect my own employees, and I'll make them suffer more than my old company.
But it's you, Tsuyoshi. I'm sure you'll be fine. Come on, you're smart, and you can do anything. Just like my brother always did for me. I tried to cheer my brother up. However,
Hiroshi, I was always lying. Even though I said, I'm sure it'll be fine. I had the least confidence of anyone. I'm actually really bad at studying, but I didn't have any talents or any gifts, so there was nothing I could do besides work hard. I had to ignore my own heart, and the only way that I could maintain myself was if I somehow stayed brilliant in my parents' eyes. But I'm not actually brilliant at all.
In an instant, Miss Shibuya's words floated into my mind. Wasn't my brother's fate to be a perverted bully scumbag gorilla and have an affair with an idiot wife? Maybe, just maybe, he would have been happier that way. Get it together. This is a company that you put together. Everyone followed you because they're counting on you.
It's all over. I don't care anymore. In the end, I couldn't save anyone.
Yes, you can. Look at me. If you're saying you can't go any further, then I'll piggyback you and take you wherever you need to go.
Hiroshi, well then, can you do just one thing for me?
What?
My company. I want you to take after it.
Sorry, I don't really understand what you're saying. What on earth was I doing?
In order to learn the most important things in life, it takes time. Even that intelligent brother of yours, he had to hit rock bottom like this in order to realize his true self.
Miss Shibuya, I did exactly as you said, and I lived my life doing whatever I wanted to.
So, are you happy?
Honestly, not really.
Well, of course not. You weren't just doing what you wanted to do. You were just jumping onto what was recommended to you by others. Of course, if you walk down the street, there are plenty of delicious things. Plenty of shiny clothes, too. These days, you don't even have to spend money. You can find anything on YouTube. But there's a limit to how much happiness you can get from things that have a price. The moment that people are truly happy is when they create something out of their own intuition.
But there's nothing I can make. Plus, it's too late to start.
That's exactly the problem. Instead of just moping about it, why don't you just try? Instead of running away like you are right now.
Because, what if I fail?
Then, let me ask you this. What happens if you fail? You'll go bald? No matter how much you fail, it doesn't change the fact that pudding is delicious and the sun is blinding. It doesn't change anything, so you'll be fine.
And so, a few years after that, out of nowhere, my parents came barging into my crap apartment.
Hiroshi, come out immediately. We're not going to let you ignore us.
We can't get a hold of Tsuyoshi. I bet you know something. My parents had quit their jobs a long time ago, depending on Tsuyoshi and his income. However, since my brother stopped sending the money, that's why this time, they've come to me. Didn't you disown me a long time ago?
It's not so simple to cut your parents off. Children should be grateful to their parents, and they should look after their parents. This is the basic manners of the world, you know? You should really learn a thing or two. Shame on you. You need to listen to people when they're talking to you.
I thought I was being lectured by my mom, and before I knew it, I was reading an economics paper. You're a grown adult now, and you're still not working? Look at your parents! They're coming to you in need, and you're not even going to try to give us $200 or $300? Oh dear!
It's money.
Why are you opening my closet? It's real. Look, at first glance, there's at least $3 million.
Where do you get this much money?
That's none of your business.
Yes, it is. We're your family.
If you have this much, then you should share at least a little bit with us. That's company money, so I can't. That's right. After that, I did take over my brother's company from him. My personality trait of not being able to ignore things that made me curious exploded, and I succeeded in finding the root of all of the company's problems and solving them one by one. On top of that, my inability to sit still blossomed. I got carried away and started over 20 other companies. I couldn't get my hands around as a single business owner to all of them, so a lot of them ended as a swing and a miss. But miraculously, 3 of those companies were a huge hit, and they created a ginormous profit. However, as the companies got bigger, I was met with people who would betray me. Because there was a risk of a company bank account being mismanaged in an emergency, I had withdrawn all of the cash, and I was storing it in my house.
Hey, Hiroshi, we won't say for free, so at the very least, will you let your dad work at your company? You know, because we are family, right?
Don't pretend like we're family only when it suits you. You have no idea how much I suffered. You have about 10 years until retirement age, right? Then work, idiots. There aren't any companies that will hire me at this age, and Tsuyoshi also stopped sending us any money, so I bet. I'm sure he didn't tell you guys this to your face, but thanks to you two, Tsuyoshi had been pushing himself over the limit his whole life. Don't you think it's time you let him do whatever he wants with his life?
Where is that boy and what is he doing right now? Not even sending anything to us.
He's finding himself in Scandinavia. A lot has happened, but I want to take a step back and really think about what I want to do with my life. To do that, first I'm thinking about going to Finland. I want to see a world that I've never seen before. Tsuyoshi won't be back, not for a while. I'm going to vacate this house too, so don't mind me and do whatever you want with your lives, Mom and Dad.
What an irresponsible thing to say. Can't you see that your parents are struggling?
That's right. We still have to pay off the loan on the house too. If the house gets seized and we get kicked out, then where are we supposed to go? Don't know. Don't say that! Please rethink this! I'll apologize for what I said! Please don't leave us! In the end, I didn't hand over a single penny and parted ways with my parents. They were unable to pay their loan, and eventually, they were kicked out of the house. I bought an apartment near my new office, and I'm living very comfortably these days. Every now and then, I still see Miss Shibuya, and we have exciting discussions about our lives. As for my brother, he found his calling in Singapore, and eventually, he married a local girl there. Thank you for watching all the way till the end. Don't forget to subscribe and smash that like button. And if you have time, please check out our other videos as well. Alright then. See you next time. Bye.